when you watch a video, there's a like watching movement like that. There's a part of your brain that like gets benefit from that as if you did it yourself. So that's kind of cool too. So there's a part of your brain that like gets benefit from that as if you did it yourself. That's kind of... Wow, I just heard myself speak.
Oh, yeah.
Delay or something?
No, I just started the YouTube.
Okay.
Live.
Oh, so it's got a delay on that, I guess.
Yeah, I put that one on mute, so it should be okay.
Okay. Sri Devi. I heard the name Sri Devi and I was like, is that the Sri Devi I know? And it sure enough is. Hello. Oh my God. It's a virtual hug. That's all we can give nowadays anyway, right? Our virtual hugs are like just bump. Yay. I'm so glad to see you. So I'm glad to see everybody. And so this is, would you mind?
Oh, she goes by Gisha or Guillermina.
Guillermina, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited. Okay, so does anybody have any physical like limitation, any injuries or anything I should know about before we start the asana portion of the class?
I do have a little bit of my left knee.
Okay.
I wouldn't say pain as much as some mild discomfort. I would put it that way because it doesn't limit me in any way, but it's there.
Okay, well, we're not going to be doing anything particularly strenuous anyway. And this thing is delaying again. This is very annoying. I think it might be because it's a little warm in here. Let me turn this on. All right. We are working on getting some professional streaming equipment here, but it's so brand new that we haven't been able to get all set up yet. We tried a little yesterday, but it was just too much, so we're just doing it on my little old laptop.
A quick question. Do we all have to sit on the floor mat or we can sit on a chair cross-legged?
You can sit on a chair, and then when we stand up, there's a portion we're going to be standing up. And so just, do whatever feels comfortable. This is only a 30-minute practice anyway. So, and if you feel you can't do the asana that we're going to be talking about, then just breathe. Okay. So this is more about that than moving too incredibly much. All right. So we're going to start the practice. So if you have a pillow, something that you can, the point is to get your hips higher than your knees. Okay. So you can either be in a cross leg, like I'm in a cross leg, or you can sit on your heels in a Virasana kind of way. And so we're just going to tune in to our breath. And so the purpose of the asana yoga is to get the mind in a good situation for meditation. So we're going to start by just becoming present. Let's forget for 30 minutes what we have to do later in today, whatever might be going on else, whatever happened this morning, nothing else matters. We're just in the present moment. And we're going to start by doing some belly breaths, the yoga breath. A lot of people breathe, when you ask them to breathe, they automatically just breathe into here. When actually we should breathe into our bellies, okay? Because that's going to get a full breath. Okay, so we can even start by putting our hand on our belly. So if we're not used to breathing like this, then by having our hand on our belly, we can physically with our hand feel our hand in our belly and breathe into your hand. So you can breathe in through your nose, pooch that belly out, and keep inhaling. Inhale all the way to your chest puffs up, and then you exhale, bring the belly in. Do that a few more times. Inhale, push that belly out. Inhale, when you take that big inhale, lift your chest up, get a full breath, and exhale. You can exhale out through your mouth. It's nice because it's still pretty hot, even though it's mid-September, because we live in Texas. Inhale, breathe down into your belly, get a big breath, keep breathing. Inhale, 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 raise your chest up. Get a big full breath and exhale. Pull that belly in as you exhale, really empty everything out. Do that 2 more times. Inhale. Fill that belly up with air. Inhale, keep your inhale. Bring it to the top of your lungs and then exhale. Last time. Big breath. Inhale, fill the belly up. The middle of the chest also fills up. Lastly, the top part of your chest. You can kind of bring your shoulders back when you're at the top of your inhale. And then exhale, let it all out. So we're going to start with a little warm up. Most of this is we're going to do warm up sitting on the floor. And where's my little notes? Because I wrote up a nice little this morning. Okay, here we go. So you can stay on your bolster or your pillow, or you can just be down on the floor. And we're going to do a little seated cat-cow warm up. Okay? So how that's going to look is you're going to inhale, and you can pull your arms back. Your head goes up, push your chest out like this. And then on an exhale, go the other way and just collapse into yourself, bringing your arms forward. Your belly is coming in. And then we're going to do that on the breath a few times. And I'm going to show you what it looks like from this side, if you didn't get it from me on the front side. So we're going to inhale, bring the chest up and the arms back. Chin up and exhale, collapse. Inhale. You see I'm moving. I'm also moving my hands. This is fun with Zoom yoga here. So we're kind of like this. Inhale. Exhale, collapse. Inhale. I call this riding the breath. So you exhale, you move with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Do it at your own pace, and you can get a little faster if you want. This is warming up our body, getting ready for the rest of the asana that we're going to do. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, look up. Exhale, collapse down, bring your arms forward. Inhale, up and back, and then exhale, let it all out. And then we'll come back to neutral. Okay, so we're going to stay seated for a couple more poses. There's a lot you can do on the floor, and I'm keeping us on the floor so we don't have to worry about a mat too much. So we're going to do a little twist, a little, call it helicopter twist. And this is to warm up our core and also get a nice twist to help with our digestion a little bit, okay? So we're going to inhale our arms up, And then we're going to exhale, twist to the right. You can put your arms down. Inhale, arms to the side. Get big here. And then exhale, twist. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist. Then we're going to inhale, come up. Exhale, twist. So we can stay for a couple of breaths here. Just continue to twist. Stay in your twist. On your exhale, if you can twist a little farther, that's nice. Try to keep your spine tall. Don't dump into your, ready? Stay tall. And always remember to breathe. And then we're going to inhale, come up out of it. And exhale, go to the other side. And stay here for a few breaths. Spine stays tall. Your chin slightly tucked in. You can hang on to your leg with your arm and bring your left arm to the back. And just breathe for a little bit. And on your next inhale, come back forward. Stretch up. Bring the right arm down, and we're going to do a little side stretch. So then we're going to exhale, come over, bend to your right. And then we're going to inhale, come up. Get big here. Really pull out of your waist. Left arm goes down. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, come up out of it. Get real big here. Arm goes down. Exhale. Keep your back nice and straight. Don't dump into your back. Stay nice and upright. Inhale up. Exhale. Stretch. Nice and really nice opening up this side body. A lot of heat in there. It's been a long summer. It's always a long summer in Texas. Inhale up. Exhale. Now we can stay for a couple of breaths. So you can straighten that right arm. Straighten the right arm and push yourself up. And then at the same time, be pulling your left arm over your head and push your left butt into the floor. So this is really, you're really bowing yourself out. You might just be sitting on the floor, but there's a lot going on here. And don't let yourself lean forward. Keep your back straight. And breathe. When you inhale, you can get a little bigger. And then exhale, let it go. Inhale, stretch, reach to the right side. Exhale. One more time, inhale, reach, and exhale, come out of it. And then we'll go to the other side. Inhale, arm up. You can keep that left arm straight, and then exhale. So we're really stretching that right side. Push that that right part of your butt into the ground. That should automatically lengthen that right side. Couple of breaths here. And Inhale, come up. And exhale, arms down. All right. So we're going to come to stand now. And if you have a mat, then you can obviously stay on your mat. But we're not going to do anything that'll require the grippiness of the mat. You know, things like down dog and certain poses, like you really need that mat to keep you from slipping. So I'm purposely not using a mat to show that you don't need a mat, but of course, mats are just fine. So we're going to do a little dynamic forward fold, okay? So you can just watch me, and I'm just going to turn like this so you can get a better idea of what's going on. So our hips, our feet are hip distance apart, so they're just like we're standing there, so they're not together and they're not out. They're just about a foot apart from one another, okay? So we're gonna inhale our arms up. We're coming with a little bit of a back bend here. It's nice. And then we're gonna exhale, spread our arms out. And run your hands down the back of your legs. And exhale and forward fold. And then we're gonna inhale, run your hands up the back of your legs, like we did before. Inhale, and then we're going to come up back to a back bend. And then we're going to exhale, our arms go out, and we're going to come to prayer position, our hands to prayer position. Okay? So we're going to do that 2 more times. Okay? So just really move on the breath, and we're not going to move super fast. We're going to inhale, our arms up, slight back bend. Exhale, swan dive down. Don't block your knees. Keep them a little soft. Run the hands down the back of your legs. That keeps your neck in a nice position. Exhale all the way down and forward fold. Inhale, run your hands up, the back of the legs, over your head, to the sky, then a little back bend, and exhale. Bring your arms into prayer position. One more time. Inhale. Big inhale. Slight back bend. Exhale. Keep your back nice and flat as you come down. Knees slightly bent. Exhale into your forward fold. Now listen carefully. Next we're going to inhale. And we're come up halfway. So our back is like a tabletop. And then we're going to exhale, come down. And inhale, come all the way up. Once again, we're going to do that one more time. Exhale, hands down the back of the legs. Let it go. Hang there for a breath. Inhale, come up with a flat back. This helps to strengthen the back when we hold it like this. We can even have your hands to the side if you want to hang out here a little bit more. If you want to be a little crazy like me, you can have your arms out like this. Or you can keep your hands on your hips. And exhale, come down your forward fold. Couple of breaths here, just let it all hang out. And put your hand on the floor. Just let it go. You exhale and you go a little deeper in your forward fold, that's nice. Forward fold calms the mind. Don't we all need some mind calming, like all the time? And then we're going to put our hands on the back of our legs once again, run them up. Come all the way up. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Again, a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, hands to prayer. Okay. So that sequence is really nice to strengthen the back so you can sit on the floor upright without slumping over. So that's really nice for your back. So next we're going to do a dynamic triangle. So this is really good to open the side body to let out that heat. It's also really nice for the hips. So how we get into it, so we're gonna start with, have your left foot just be straight. So if you're on a mat, you're on the short side of the mat, your foot is in line with that. And your other foot is out. So pointing the other way. So it's almost like your feet are in a T, okay? And then your heel should be in line, of your right leg, your heel should be in line with the arch of your left foot, okay? So one foot is pointing this way, and one foot is facing this way, okay? And you don't need them too far out. We don't want to be too spread out like that, okay? And so what we're going to do is our goal is to keep our torso forward in this right here. So like we have one hip is going this way and one hip is staying frontwards. So we can move our hips side to side by looking forward. You can feel it in your hips, right? Especially the hip with the foot that's going this way. Okay, and so just sort of loosen up your hips here. You feel that, how that's stretching like the front of your hips. Okay. So come back to center. And what we're going to do is you're going to shift your hips to the left. Okay. Don't let your back, keep your back straight. Don't let it sway out like this. You want your butt to stay nice and even. You don't want to sway your back. So shift your hips to the left. Reach your right arm out straight ahead of you. Put your hand right below your knee or on your shin. Look back at your left arm. Bring your left arm up. Bring it over. Look at your thumb. Look to the ground. Exhale. Bring your arm back. And then inhale. Bring your arm up and over. And then we'll start over. Exhale, reach. Inhale, watch your arm go overhead, watch your thumb. Look to the ground, bring your arm back to your hip. And inhale. Come back. You stretch that front hip. One more time, exhale. Shift your hips to the left. Right arm goes down onto your shin. Look back. Watch your arm over your head. Watch that thumb on an inhale. Look to the ground. Exhale. Arm goes back to the hip. And inhale. Come up. Next time we're going to stay. Exhale. Reach forward. Arm goes down. Look up. Your arm goes over your head. And then you're going to look down. Then you're going to bring your arm back. And then you're going to stay for a few breaths here. And so the goal isn't to have your arm on the ground, though you certainly could if you were super flexible. But it's not about that. This is about working your hips and opening your side body. So having your hand here right below your knee or on your knee even is just fine. So we're opening the shoulders here. 2. And then on inhale, we'll come up. And then exhale. So just twist take your foot that was pivoting one way and bring it towards the front and just switch feet. And again, let's kind of let our hips are in a new position. Let's sort of wiggle back and forth so they can get that idea. This is the second side, warming up the hips. And now we'll work the other side just like we did. So shift your hips to the right. Take your left arm out, down to your shin. Inhale, watch that thumb. Good stretch. Flip to the ground. Bring your arm back to your hip. Inhale, pull it back. Exhale, hips goes out to the side, shifts. Exhale, arms to the shin. Inhale, arm overhead. Reach with that right arm. Exhale, look to the ground, bring your arm back. Inhale, come up. One more time like this. Exhale, shift your hips. Bring your left hand to your shin. Inhale, arm up and over. Exhale. Bring it back to your hip. And inhale. This is the time we're going to stay. Exhale, shift your hips. Hand down to your shin. Inhale, up and over. Exhale. You bring your hand to your hip. And breathe. And you can have your arm up if you want it. That just kind of adds, it kind of looks prettier, but that's not what it's about. It's about we're trying to stack our shoulders on top of one another. So you don't have to have your arm in the air. And tuck your tail so you're not this way back. And breathe. We're in this kind of awkward position and we're breathing. And when we're breathing, our mind, it helps our mind to stay calm, which is why we're doing this in the first place. And we can inhale, bring that arm up, bring it back, exhale down. And then we can pivot that left foot so they're both facing forward. And with our legs apart like this, we can go back into forward fold again. And just release our low back here. Take a few breaths here. And just let your upper body be hang. You can have your arms like this. So then you can, it's just like your legs are holding you up. Your knees are not locked, but they're holding you up. And your upper body is just loose and hanging over. Couple of breaths here. And you can inhale, come up slowly. You can run your hands up your back of your legs again. Come up slowly. Keep your chin tucked. And when your spine is all the way up, you can bring your head up last. That's going to decrease your chances of feeling dizzy. Okay. So that was the hardest thing we're going to do. I just love that pose. It's really good for me to do that pose. So I wanted to share it with you. All right, from here on out, we're going to be on the floor. Okay. So we're going to be on our back. Make sure you can see me. There we go. I'm going to do this. This looks better. All right. So we're on our back. Our knees are up. All right. So we're gonna move opposite leg and opposite arm, okay? And then we're gonna move on the breath. So I'm gonna do it once. You can just watch me to get an idea of what it looks like, okay? So we'll start with the left leg and the right arm. So inhale, the left leg goes up and the right arm goes back. And there's my leg with my tattoo. And then we're gonna exhale, bring it down. And then we're gonna inhale, left arm goes back, right leg goes up. Exhale, bring it down. And then we're gonna do both arms and both legs. Inhale. Arms and legs go up, arms go back. And exhale, bring it down. Okay? And we're gonna do that about 5 times. Okay? So left leg, inhale, left leg goes up, right arm goes back. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale. Right leg goes up, left leg, arm goes back. Exhale down. Inhale, both arms and both legs go up. Reach back with your arms. Exhale, come down. Inhale, and then really want you to push with your left heel into the air and reach back. And you want to keep your sacrum on the ground. So we're getting a nice stretch on the leg. But then we're reaching with the back arm, so it's like a cross the body stretch. Exhale, come down. There's more going on than what it looks simple, but you can make a lot happen with a simple movement. Reach that left arm back. Push that left heel into the sky. Push your sacrum down into the ground and just get this super dynamic cross the body stretch. Exhale, come down. Same thing, both arms and both legs. Push our sacrum into the ground. Our heels are up in the sky. Reach it back. Exhale down. One more time each side. Inhale. Leg goes up. Arm goes back. Exhale, come out of it. Inhale. Leg goes up. Arm goes back. And exhale, come out of it. Now we're going to do both arms and both legs 3 times. Inhale, reach back, heels go up into the sky, push the sacrum into the ground. And exhale, 2 more times. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come out of it. Inhale, let's go up. This is the last time. Really make it count. Stretch those heels are up in the air. Push the sacrum into the ground. Reach up and back. Just L. And exhale out of it. Whew. Really like that one too. So the thing is, with any of these little sets of poses that we're doing, you can do them all by themselves. If you're just like, oh, I really like that, and you just got 5 minutes, then do that pose for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be. That's one reason why we're doing even a 30-minute class, to show you that we're kind of locked onto this idea that yoga must be an hour. Because when you go to a yoga studio, most classes are an hour. And you don't have to do it for an hour. You can get something good out of a 30-minute practice, a 20-minute practice, a 5-minute practice. So that's one reason I wanted to do a 30-minute practice with you today. So now we're going to do our final pose. We're going to do a line on the back twist. So we can bring our knees back, and then we're going to lift up our hips, shift them to the right a little bit, and bring them back down. We're going to stick, our left leg is going to go straight, and our right leg is gonna go up. Our arms are out to the side like we're a T. And on an exhale, we're gonna take our knee and twist. And bring that knee down to the ground. And then we're gonna inhale, bring it back up. We do this to give our body the idea of what's happening before we stay in the pose. Exhale, twist, bring that knee down. Inhale up. And then exhale, twist, and then we're gonna stay. And then we're gonna relax in this funky little pose. And if you want to make your twist a little deeper, you can take your left hand and put it on your right knee. Kind of keep it there, kind of keeps that knee down. You can turn your head to the right, so you're kind of getting at your lower body's going one way and your upper body's going the other way. It's very nice. And just relax and breathe. And as you exhale, you can bring your navel toward your spine. And now you'll feel like you go a little deeper into your twist. This is a wonderful way to end your practice. With all the breathing that we've done in the other poses, this like ties it off. Kind of like a Tootsie Roll, it's tied off. Keeps all that energy that we built up in the practice, keeps it inside us to get us through the day. And just breathe. Now, whenever we're in a pose that we're holding for a while, we want to come out of it slowly. Because whatever muscles got relaxed, we don't want to get them unrelaxed but when we come out of it. So just move slowly out of it. I'm going to turn around because that makes it easier for you. But you just stay where you are. And if you want to wiggle your hips a little bit, I recommend wiggles and jiggles between poses, between sides all the time, just sort of helps us get those kinks out. Bring the right leg down, lift your hips up, move them to the left. Right arm is straight, left leg is up. And now we've done this already, so we know where we're going with this. Exhale, bring the knee down to the ground. Inhale, come up. Exhale, knee goes to the ground, twist. Inhale, come up. And exhale, last time we'll stay. And one thing when we're working the two sides, this is any pose, you may, well, I wouldn't say you may, I'm almost certain that you'll find in certain poses that you're going to go deeper on one side, or one side is easier, one side is tighter, and that's just because that's how we carry our stress. We're just not perfectly symmetrical beings in the first place. So there's nothing wrong with you if you can't get your knee on the ground, or if your arm isn't touching the ground like on the other side, or vice versa. There's no judgment here. I mean, there's reasons for all those, but I won't go into that today, but it's okay. That's why we do yoga, to even ourselves out. One of the reasons we do yoga. And just let go. There's a purpose to the pose that's beyond how it looks or how far you go into it. It's having an effect on your body no matter how it looks. In fact, it's dangerous to try to make your pose look like somebody else's because everybody's body is different. That's a very detailed way. I can talk about that in a few minutes. And now we can come out of it again slowly, especially if one side is like way tighter than the other. That's even more important. You don't want to get it all jammy. We're going to do a short Shavasana. And this is just the point where you can just reset. I like to lay in Shavasana. This is a good thing about the Zoom classes if you don't have a neighbor. I like to have my legs spread out. I feel like I'm a star. It's really nice, especially if you got a little warm during your practice. You have your legs spread out and your arms up. It just lets all that heat out. Shavasana, I mean, the name means corpse pose, but it doesn't mean you gotta lay straight. It just means you're not moving. And this is the point you can just be for a while. No judgment. No place else you have to be right now. Just lying on the floor. I'm going to get up and kind of get ready for the next part of the class. You can lay there a little longer if you want. You can start to, it's nice to roll on your right side and push your way up from there. And the reason we lay on the right side for a minute is because that is our awake side. How's everybody doing? I see there's something on the chat. Oh, okay, I see. That's Amy. Okay.
That was nice. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, how's everybody doing?
Got
Yeah,
a lot of thumbs up.
I like a lot of thumbs up during.
Very good, thank you.
Works well for Zoom. Deborah, is that our Deborah? Is that our Deborah now in Pennsylvania, Deborah?
No, I'm in San Antonio.
San Antonio, Deborah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Great artist friend. Oh, we have two Deborahs now.
Oh,
That's
good.
right. Yeah, because well, she said she was on the what do you call it? Facebook said she was coming. So yay. Oh, yes, all the fun Zoom. So all right. So we're doing okay. All right. So now here's the top portion of it. So, how many of you here? Oh wait. We could do cameras for just a second, so I can just kind of get an overview here. So who here is aware of yoga philosophy or the Krishna conscious philosophy or not? I'm just kind of curious. I'm gonna, not go too deep into it, but it is nice to know. I mean, like, is this your first time ever to hear anything about it, or? Okay.
Yeah, I think most everyone's on mute, so you can unmute yourselves if you like.
Yeah, just unmute yourselves for a second, just a little bit. Are we? Not the first time. You can even chat if you want. I've got the chat open. I'm familiar. Okay.
Oh, here's the first time.
This is your first time ever to hear any kind of the philosophy side of yoga? First time. All right. I love first timers of anything. So I've been a massage therapist for 25 years, and I love having like first time massage people and first time yoga people and first time philosophy people. It's so fun. It's so fun to go back to begin in like Buddhist teachings. There's the beginner's mind. I was talking with Narada before everybody else joined on, talking about it's always good to check in with your foundation, and whatever practices we're doing, we don't ever want to forget where we started. It's really super important. So whether it's an asana, like, you can, if you're like, been doing asana for a while, and then you think, oh, well, the goal is to do these crazy arm balances and crazy bendy things where you don't even, you kind of like an insect or something. But you don't ever want to forget like what it's like to do Tadasana, say, or to do a good down dog. Like you always want to go back to the basics. And so it's good to always return to the basics, because as we progress in any kind of practice, spiritual practice, physical practice, you just always have to remember the basics, Yes, it's always good to hear again. And especially when it comes to spiritual topics, because one of the qualities of spiritual life and spiritual topics is it's always fresh, ever fresh. It doesn't get old to hear. It's not like the same thing over and over, because as we grow, we have a different understanding of it than when we first started. Because when we first hear these things, it's all brand new, it's kind of exciting, and it's like, oh wow, I never thought of it that way before. And if we've been doing this 15, 20, 30 years, you just have different eyes and you can examine it in a different way. So why did we do some asana first? And then the title of the class is Yoga as a Stepping Stone. And in that context, when I said yoga, when most people say the word yoga, this is what they think of. They think of the postures, the triangle, the down dog, that's yoga. But yoga, the word yoga in Sanskrit just means to connect, to union, to yoke. They tie to the oxen are yoked together. So it means union. So union of what? So in the asana, we can see it's the union of the breath with movement. The union of your mind and your body, because you're getting your body in these positions, and then you still have to breathe, and you're supposed to like not be freaking out when you're in this pose. It's training for your mind to be, you're in an uncomfortable position, to remember to breathe and to be present, and to know that it's not going to be that way forever, because you're not going to hold a pose forever. Though sometimes it does feel like it, I must say. So yoga is a good place to start. So the asana yoga, which will, because I know because I've been teaching bhakti yoga, teaching it pretty steadily for about 9 years. And I don't know how many times, and I've advertised it as bhakti yoga. So, and bhakti is there's different forms of yoga. They all have different purposes. But just the word yoga has gotten just synonymous with only the physical aspect of it. But not everybody knows that there's bhakti yoga, hatha yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga. I don't want to throw out too many different words, but the point is that you want to differentiate what you're actually going to be talking about. So we would advertise bhakti yoga and kirtan, which is musical meditation. Our intention was to let people know that we weren't going to be doing poses. But what would happen many times is that people would show up with their mat and, like yoga kites and stuff. And we're like, oh, we're not doing that. And they'd be really confused. And usually they would leave. So I realized, oh, that's not a really good way to try to reach people, to make it, they think it's one thing and another. And a few years ago, I started incorporating the asana yoga. Maybe it wasn't myself teaching, but through another yoga studio, doing some asana yoga before we did the spiritual talk. And it was like, oh, wow, these things go together. Why? Yeah, hello, it's a package, right? That and Art laughing, because we were laughing about this earlier. It really is a package. And it's often said that in our tradition that the bhakti yoga we practice is like an elevator, that all the different yogas can only take you so far, and then the bhakti yoga process is it's like the top of the ladder. It's it can bypass all the other yogas, and it can. And I'm not saying that it doesn't, because it certainly does. But at the same time, coming back to, let's go to that beginner's mind. Let's do the foundation. We want to build the high practice. Like, we don't want to lose sight of what we can do with our spiritual practices to really transcend everything. But we've always got to keep working on the foundation. Because if the higher we go, and if this is not stable, then what's going to happen? We're going to go higher and higher and higher. And if this down here is unstable, what's going to happen? This collapses, everything falls. And then we can get into, that's a whole nother discussion of what could happen if that happens to you, right? So we want to, and the beautiful thing about spiritual life is that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. So we can be working on raising ourselves up through the yoga ladder by practicing bhakti yoga, but still be doing the practices to build this physical vessel and our mental side to help us to bring us up. And then we become a very whole human being, a very balanced human being. I do teach some other spiritual disciplines, and we talk about the chakras. And I don't want to spend too much time on this. Okay, thank you, Sri Devi. And it was really glad to see you. Now I'm really glad to know that when we're on our Zoom talks and they talk about you, and if I'm not on video, that I know that's your beautiful smiling face. So obeisances to you as well, Sri Devi. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. This was very good. Very good.
Okay.
I look forward to more of this.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm going to read a little bit from the Bhagavad Gita, just a little bit. So this is Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is the main spiritual book that we come to again and again. This is like the basis of what we, and it covers all the yogas. So I'm going to read from chapter 2, verse 17. Just, you don't have to have the Gita for this, but if you have one out, you can look at it. 2:17. And when I read this, I was having a lot of personal conflicts with my asana yoga and how to marry it with bhakti yoga. And of course, if you just read the books, the answers are there, right? So I didn't, chapter 1, no wonder I'm not finding it. So 217. So the verse of 217 is that which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So this is the part of the Gita when Krishna is telling Arjuna about the nature of the soul. Okay, and if you don't know what the Bhagavad Gita is, it's a book of, it was spoken on a battlefield. Krishna and Arjuna have a conversation because basically Arjuna is having a meltdown and Krishna pulls him out of the meltdown. And chapter 2 is a summary of the entire Gita, and he goes over a lot of the basic points, which the first one is that you're not the body. And so if you're not the body, well then, then what am I, right? If I'm not the body. And so Krishna starts talking about how we're the soul inside. I mean, we're actually the soul that lives in our body. And then he describes all the qualities of the soul. So it is which invades the entire body. You should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So I had an aha moment when I read this section, because it's kind of a long report. I'm not going to just bore you to death by reading the whole thing, but I just wanted to share with you my aha moment. And literally, like a light went off. In my heart, like this conflict I'd had in my heart for years. I did my yoga teacher training in 2012. I had an aha moment with this verse in 2018. So that's like an active conflict I was having in my heart. And all I need to do is read all of the Gita. And so this is Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada is the person who brought this yoga philosophy to America. He came here in 1965 from India to bring this. And he's the one that wrote this, did the commentary and translated the Gita for us. So this is what he says. He says, the Hatha yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kinds of air encircling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures, not for any material profit, but for liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's it. Prabhupada said it right there. I was so excited. That's why I wrote it down. This is just like a little yoga notebook I have, and I wrote it down, and I just I was just ecstatic when I read this. It finally was like, oh, So we'll go to the word hatha. So he says hatha yoga. So we're talking about like yoga means union. And so when we talk about the different yogas, so when we talk about asana, the word asana just means seat. So the purpose of doing the yoga asanas is so we can sit. And we can sit with our back straight, so we don't get fatigued from having our back in a nice straight way, because then it's this body, right, can go freely. And then we can sit and we can meditate. So just meditating, just a silent meditation, or the japa meditation, which we do with our beads. And then when we chant the mantras, then, which is the whole another thing, but where, again, we can be peaceful in our mind because our body is in a state of not being disturbed just by sitting. So when we get in these little weird postures, right, and then I say breathe, and when we do this in the asana portion, because there's going to be a part of you that might be like, no, this hurts, or I can't breathe, or this is uncomfortable, but that's why we train. So when we're sitting doing our meditation, this isn't the time to be worrying about your back hurting or your hip or that. We want to be where we can be very peaceful. So asana means seat. So it just means where we can sit. And the word hatha, so when we put hatha with yoga, it means effort, force, or exertion. So we're putting forth effort. We're like breathing and stretching and moving and, like that. And so, but we're moving our body while our mind is calm and we're breathing. And it's okay. And that's when, because from a neurological standpoint, when we're in an awkward position and we're breathing, and in particular when we can exhale longer than our inhale, which is when you hold a pose, you can really do that. You can just exhale. And when you do that, it's the neurologically, it tells our like fight or flight part of our brain that we're safe. So we train like that so when we sit in our meditation pose, we're not worried about our body. And our mind is going to be calmer, and then we can do our meditation, which is the spiritual side. And that's what I mean by a stepping stone. So the mode of goodness is when we can be peaceful. And any of these one things, and when I start talking about these, and I try not to go too off in any one direction in a very beginning class, because any one of these topics we can go on ad infinitum, and that's a wonderful thing about this yoga system, that it's ever fresh, but it also just keeps going. It just keeps going. And if you finish a book, you just start it over again, because when you read it again, it's going to be different with the poses too. Down dog is going to be different after you've been practicing a couple of years than when you try it for the first time. Down dog will be different if you practice first thing in the morning versus in the afternoon. Anything is going to be different depending on the environment of which you're doing it, or your internal environment, your external environment. So what time is it? Have I talked about 20 minutes? I didn't really look to when we started. Do we have some questions? Are we ready for some questions? I hope I didn't ramble too much.
No, that was really nice. And it's true, just that one bit that you found in the Bhagavad Gita, to be able to tie it in, because that's the whole purpose, is to be able to tie in, dovetail what it is that we're already doing,
yes,
into our spiritual practice, so that we have a spiritual mindset.
Yeah, it's a foundation. It's a great gateway to the rest of it. And that's the beautiful thing about right now, is a lot of, like, I guess in the popular culture, the asana yoga, hatha yoga, maybe people started doing it for the physical benefit and weren't thinking about the rest of it. But just by doing these poses, even if you're not purposely like thinking about that, but doing them, it's going to have an effect it's going to obviously have an effect on your physical body. It's going to have an effect on your mental body. And it will clear all those channels that make you at least start to wonder about the spiritual side of things. It's just automatic. It's a system. And you don't have to understand how it works for it to work, but it can start firing off, bring you to where you want to know more about the rest of yoga. So, so any questions on any of that? Comments?
You brought up some really cool stuff that I hadn't necessarily considered before in the context of hatha yoga. Like, for example, you said that even if one is just watching the poses, that one gets some benefit. And I mean, this sounds silly, but it reminds me of, watch a waterfall and all of a sudden you have to pee. It's kind of a similar thing, which I thought was cool, because I just kind of sat and watched. I didn't really do the poses, but no, I thought that was kind of cool. And also that everyone's pose isn't going to look the same as everybody else's, and I think we can extend that, you know, to other aspects of yoga, and you know, we can extend that to bhakti yoga as well. That not everyone's practice is going to look exactly the same in all these aspects, and also too, you know, whatever aspect we're talking about, we tend to overcomplicate it. I mean, that's just our nature.
Yes, it is our nature.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know, and when in fact it's at its root, at its heart, it's not. You know, even if we're talking about chanting, whatever we're talking about, at its heart, it's not complicated, but we tend to complicate it. So that was cool.
Yeah, you know, that the fact that your asana is not going to look the same as somebody else's, of course, reminds me of the Gita verse where, you know, do your own duty. To do somebody else's duty perfectly is dangerous, and you should do your own duty. So we have a body. We were given a certain kind of body, and it has its way it behaves, and we have our mind that's attached to it, and it behaves a certain way, and even just the physical, like what it looks like. Some people are very tall and willowy, some people are shorter and a little more squat like me, some people are somewhere in between. You're just not going to look the same, and we're not all meant to be the same. Yeah, so any one of these is, so yeah, it's pertinent for all the aspects of your life. Anybody else? Who else is here? Let's see who's here. Gallery view. Now I know what my Gurumars goes through when he's doing these classes. So, anybody have any, you know, where I'm not forcing anybody. If you're shy and just want to type, I won't even say your name if you don't want to. It can be anonymous. I mean, I'll see who it's from, but I don't have to. Or if you want to, you know, type it to Nardi and have her send it to me.
Dayananda, do you have anything?
Sorry, I'm eating my lunch. I beg your pardon.
That's okay. Lunch is good. That's a big part of Bhakti Yoga too. Lunch. Today's Ekadasi. I love Ekadasi. That's part of my mission too, is to get everybody doing Ekadasi. Because I love it. I really do. I'm kind of a weird Hare Krishna.
So for those who don't know what Ekadasi is, can you explain it?
That was my next thing. So the word Ekadasi, so it's referring to the moon. Fasting with the moon is what it is. So Eka means 1, and Dasi means 10, so that means 11. And it's going with the phases of the moon. So 11 days after the new moon and 11 days after the full moon, it's Ekadasi. And there's a whole lot of reasons, like physiological reasons, because we all know we're made of water and it's the tides and all these things. But basically it means that there's these 2 days of the month, our digestion is at its lowest. So this is from a physical standpoint. So our body is, whatever we put in our bodies on that day, we want to lighten the load of what we put in our bodies that day. Otherwise, our body will hold water because it's not digested properly, and that can lead to all kinds of diseases. So some people fast completely. Ugh, don't eat anything. That's not my program. And you can eat just eat fruits and nuts and stuff like that. But in the minimum, you don't eat grains and beans. Which is when if you're a vegetarian, that cuts out a whole lot of what we normally eat. But you know, it's only twice a month. But when you do that, and you do it on a regular basis, it's just like a little reset. It's a little mini cleanse. it just feels, because you're in tune with the cycles of nature, the cycles of the moon. And it's also a very spiritually potent day. It's called the Day of Lord Hari. So Krishna has given us like the mood. If you're tuning into like the vibe of the day, and you're like mentally prepared to do this fast, however you choose to do it. And when you're eating less and you're eating more simple, we find that it's a good day to do more spiritual practices, which I was excited actually that we started this on, doing this asana. Well, you don't want to do like heavy duty, hardcore hour and a half practice on Ekadasi anyway, because you want to put the needs of the body a little less on the priority scale. And it's a good time so rather than thinking about the don'ts, you want to talk about the do's, always. It's a good time to do more meditation, read more spiritual books, do more spiritual practices, whatever it is that you, on the positive side, do those. If you can do less work, I know we all, it's on a Sunday today. It tends to run in two cycles. So every month it'll be like a Sunday, and then in 2 weeks on a Sunday. And then the next month it'll change. It'll be like a Tuesday and a Tuesday. Usually, not always. The moon is kind of fickle. But so, if it's a Tuesday and you have to work, that's a little bit, you can't necessarily take off work, but you can just add more spiritual practices to your life on that day. So I was
as far as the fasting, just from personal experience, I know that like in my 20s, I hated it. I just did it kind of as an obligation. But now in my 40s, I actually appreciate it. Like I can actually perceive the physiological benefits of, and I like that you said reset, because that is what it feels like.
Reset. Yeah.
So, yeah, it does. It feels like that.
We mentioned the 5 airs that Prabhupada mentioned, the 5 airs of the body as directions. So one is what we bring in, one is up and out, one is down and out, and one is your digestion, and one is your blood circulation. So without getting too graphic, if you eat really light, your down and out's pretty good the next day. And it feels really good, because you ate, because basically you're eating like pretty much just vegetables and fruit, and like light, like quasi grains like quinoa, melo bakwi, and your body, it moves through very quickly.
I ate some ice cream, so that maybe not, but
there's, you can do it, like you can do it the sour cream way, or
yeah.
We can always sabotage. I mean, you can still technically do it, and I'm not knocking someone that wants to eat potato chips and sour cream, because that's really yummy. You're still doing it, but yeah. But maybe you can do that when you're 20s, but not when you're in your 40s too.
Yeah, I think now would be a good time. It looks like Gisha's heading out too, so
yeah, wrap it up.
For staying on. And one of the things that I wanted to mention before everyone heads out is that we have the Tuesday plate sales this Tuesday. We're doing spaghetti, loaded spaghetti with banana bread. So $3 minimum, and you can pick up a plate. But I really, really appreciate it. And I think that it was really a good way to invite everyone that can join and kind of do some yoga, do some hatha yoga, and then also learn a little bit more about the bhakti practice. And I'm really grateful for you, Lavanga, for taking your time and giving us all of this today.
And we can do it again.
Yeah, that would be great.
Let me know. You know, I'm thinking once a month would be good for me. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. You know, you don't have to commit to that, whatever, but I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nardi, is this recording going to be on YouTube, or how can we access?
Yeah, it's on YouTube right now. It's on live, so it should be up soon. I'm actually going to stop that now.
Can you post the link in